right? So a ton of people just talk about getting more clients, right? But no one really talks about getting more for what you put in. And so therefore, increasing your conversions in a way that is systemized. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about here is back-end systems. What are they? And I'll give you 4 examples, concrete examples of systems I'm going and I'm building actually in my business right now because they will impact my performance and my sales ability as a whole drastically. So, but first of all, what are the backend systems? Why are they really more important than actually getting more, sending more emails or doing a ton of stuff, right? Well, the first touch point that will resonate with a ton of you is simply if you have a leaking bucket, then no matter how much you fill it with water, it'll still um, be drained, right? That is the best analogy. But if we dive a bit deeper, right, a restaurant, the beauty of a restaurant oftentimes does not come from the waiter or the food, but how fast the food gets there and how is the quality, right? And so therefore, it's up to the cooks to make up for the restaurant, right? If it's going to be successful, it's because of the cooks, but not specifically the cooks, right? You can have a Michelin 3-star restaurant, but if it takes you 5 hours to get your meal, a ton of people won't go there on a regular basis. So how do you get orders coming in and being prepared as fast as possible, right? Those are systems that they have. Another great one is Amazon, right? A ton of people like Amazon, not because it has the biggest repertoire of items. Well, it does, but that wasn't the biggest factor. It was the logistics, right? The one-day shipping. That's what people like. And a third example is a Formula One team, right? A ton of people give credit to the driver, but the actual pit stop is oftentimes where teams gain an advantage because if you are faster, if you make the right choice, so ground like wet tires or dry tires will make a drastic difference. So that should give you an idea of back-end systems in other industries, other profiles that have impacted the business drastically. Now, getting into the my ideas for actual systems I'm going to implement, the first one is and I wrote them down. When someone goes on a specific page on my website, I want to retarget them. What that actually means is imagine they go on my portfolio where, well, I want to be able to grab that information and send them an email and say something like, hey, I saw you were just on my portfolio page. Which case study was most attractive to you or resonated best? Something like that. But we want to create as many touch points as possible. And we can also make the system even better by seeing if so cross-reference, if the website lead was someone that already booked a call with me or is in my calendar, and therefore we can say, hey, I know we have an upcoming call and I saw you were just on my booking page, and then we can continue the message from there, right? So insanely powerful system, and the best part is that it's very much a set and forget system, right? Once it's set, you don't really have to do anything. A second one is basically the same thing, but if they go on my booking page, they don't book, but they go on the booking page. So when they go on my booking page, then we can send emails. The third one is a successful call. When I have one, I want to be able to use AI to find my most relatable case study to them and send it to them and say, hey, I know we talked about this, that, and we can use to do so, we can use the call summary because I always have a note taker in my calls. By the way, if you don't do this, you should definitely do that. But we can use that summary linked and tied with past customers and their company. And then we can cross-reference the informations between their company. So imagine they are a web design agency with another client that was a web design agency. So we can cross-reference that and find a relatable touch point between the two. So imagine that my previous client had an issue with conversions, right? They had good inflow, good top of funnel leads, but they didn't convert enough, right? And if on the call we talked about back-end systems or stuff like that, well, I want to be able to use AI to tell me to find both touch points, right? Say, hey, I had this client that had this exact issue. Here's how we solved it, and I know we talked about it on the call, so I thought I shoot this message over, right? Insanely powerful email again. So that is the third system, and the final one, which might even be more powerful than all the rest, is the pre-call preparation sequence, which essentially we would use AI to look through a directory of either lead magnets or simply email copy or stuff like that. It just content we have about our past clients and everything, so that we can use that AI to, first of all, look through the company information. So imagine that company is a web design agency that I have a call with in, say, one day. And I want to be able to suggest to the table, bring to the table on the call, copywriting that I used for past clients. Because again, that shows expertise, that conveys trust, a ton of that. So I want to be able to do this, but it takes a lot of time if you want to do this manually. Therefore, one system could be to have AI analyze both the company and the contents, so that directory of information that you have. And so it'll cross-reference both, give you a relatable touch point on the call. And so that is insanely powerful because it shows preparation. And so therefore, the lead that you're on a call with feels valued. And the more value you can give and the more perceived value you can give, the better. So those are 4 systems. Now, I could leave you high and dry with those ideas, or I could show you how I'm counting on actually fulfilling on those. So here I go. The first thing is that you need software to track. So for the first idea, if you forgot about it, it was when someone goes on a specific page on my website, I want to retarget them and send emails. So the first thing is that we want to use software that tracks who goes on a page and when, right? I know Page.io, so Paage.io, is a software like this. I know RB2B is another one. I know Vector.co is another one. There are tons of these that identify website visitors, but a ton of these don't really capture as many visitors as I would like, so I'm still unsure which software to use, but let's say for now we have that software under lockdown. Well, then you want to have systems to actually identify this visitor and send an email. So we've done the first part, which is, okay, essentially get the information. So that's the name, maybe the LinkedIn, the title, stuff like that. So second of all, you would have to enrich to find the email, right? There are so many systems, not systems, but softwares out there that'll do it. So I won't suggest any, but there are a ton. If you want, I can suggest some are, for example, well, you can use Apollo's database. You can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You can use LinkedIn itself to find the email. And then you can use the common email enrichment tools such as ICPs or Datagma or Lead Magic, tons of these, right? So once you have this, okay, you have the email, then you need a software to send the email from. And so the best way of doing this is by having an email marketing tool, such as I use Brevo, which is awesome, but you can use Beehive or stuff like that. So I use Brevo.com, and so you can use that. But Beehive works, any newsletter thing works, and so on your website you'll also want to say or that they need to give consent to receive marketing emails, and they have to acknowledge that, right? So that could be in the cookies, that could be a ton of stuff. That being said, once you have all of this, you can send emails. And if you don't want to go on the email marketing route, because it might require a ton more development, you can just do cold email, right? You just find the email, have your email set up to send an email. Now, you need an automation platform to do this, and therefore, I strongly, strongly recommend using N8N.io. This is the best automation software in my opinion. I've tried Make.com, I've tried Zapier.com. They're good. I mean, there's no real difference except one major difference, actually, which is that you can use code in N8N.io. And I'm not a big coder, but the beauty is that with ChatGPT, imagine one use case I had was that I had Facebook leads and I needed to push this into Facebook events events manager. And for that, you need some encryption and you need to format data in a specific way. And there was no real way of doing that without code. And so I just put a code block in my sequence. I asked ChatGPT, this is the input I have. I need this output. How can you help me do this? And it outputted all the code for me, right? So that is the beauty of code. And that is why you should really think of leveraging it as a whole, doing that. So I hope this helps. So this framework for automation and backend systems, it works with all the other systems I previously announced. You just have to figure out, it's pretty much the same thing with the booking page to retarget and with the case studies and everything. So I hope this helped give you some ideas. And if it did, feel free to subscribe. It would mean a lot because I put a bit of effort into these videos. So would be very happy if you showed some feedback on the work I'm doing. So thank you for listening.